Wait, you live in Minnesota. What are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly. I feel at home.
It's a walk in the park for you. Excuse me.
Tom, what's better for development of a young player, do you think? A situation like Wiggins and Towns, where they were counted on to lead the team right away and they suffered through a couple losing seasons, or Brown and Tatum with the Celtics, where they're not saviors and they're on winning teams?
Well, I think, whatever your situation is, you have to make the most of it. I think the most important thing is getting the playing time. In Chicago, we had Jimmy Butler. We had a 60-win team, so he didn't play a lot. He came in the lockout season, so no practice, no summer league, but he still found his way. And so for Carl and Andrew, it was a lot different. It was, a team that wasn't very good, so they were able to play through their mistakes and learn that way. And now, as the team has gotten better, and Butler's done so many amazing things for us just to change, our organization. I think the contribution, they're sacrificing some of their individual statistics, but it's their contributions to winning are far greater this year than they were last year.
And what about Brown and Tatum? How do you think they're?
They're doing what Tatum's doing as a rookie is very, very impressive, and the jump that Jaylen has made is a credit to him. Obviously, he's put a lot of work in, and I think the way the roster is built, the versatility of their wings makes them special. When KYRIE came, obviously that grabs a lot of headlines, and rightfully so. He's an elite player. They gave up some really good players too. So, but you're thinking that is, it gets a lot of the attention, and then sometimes you overlook the other parts of the equation. And I think picking up Morris, picking up Baines, the development of Jaylen, and then of course the contributions that Tatum has made. They're an elite defensive team, and when you look at scoring margin, they've made a huge jump.
So you were talking about Towns and Wiggins because they had to be on bad teams, and sometimes, as you know, that can develop bad habits too.
Right.
And defensively, I keep waiting for Wiggins, because he's so athletic, to make the jump. He still really hasn't. How frustrating is that for you as a defensive coach?
The big thing is to win, and so like the strengths of the club are, you look at whatever the strengths are, play to your strengths, cover up your weaknesses.
Right.
And what they're doing offensively is really terrific. When you look, we're in the top 5 in most categories offensively. And then the key for us is to concentrate on our improvement every day defensively. And I think when you look at the good teams in the league, you see that they're balanced, they're strong on both sides of the ball. But sometimes I think we all tend to forget the steps that teams make. And when you look back at a Golden State, and you saw they went 23 wins, then there was 40 and up to 51, and then when they started playing defense, they went to a completely different level. And the same thing with Boston, when Kevin and Paul and Ray left, they went through a little bit of a lull, and then they got the defense going again, and there were steps that they made along the way. So I think we have to do the same thing, and we have to understand how important it is to play defense, and that's where I think Jimmy and Taj are really helped, our younger players.
I was going to ask a variation about that, about Carl. I mean, people have been picking his game apart, especially for the last couple of years. And, how do you assess where he is right now in year 3? I mean,
well, there's not many guys that are 20 and 10 guys, and so I think he's 22 years old, and so is Wiggins. They're 2 guys that are going to get a lot better. And when you look at what they've done at a very young age and compare it to other players, it's pretty good. And I know how passionate Carl is about the game and how hard he's working. And so I see the improvement defensively. I think right now, we're not where we want to be, but he's blocking shots. He's getting a lot of deflections. He's seeing things better. And I think we'd all agree that, the trial and error part of learning, doing it in games, is something that the only way you get better at is by doing it in games. And of course, obviously, you're going to be a lot better playing against a team or a player the 40th time than you were the first time. So, I think he'll continue to grow. I feel the same way about Wig, and it has to become important to do it on every possession and not, you can't take plays off or you can't take a game off, and just understanding what goes into it is really important.
What has Taj done for him?
Well, Taj is, I think for us, you know, the toughness that Taj has added, and his versatility. I think you're looking for guys, the way the NBA is now, I think guys that can guard multiple positions, that allow you to do some switching on 2s, 3s, and 4s, and I think that's why Boston's defense is so elite. You know, you talk about a guy like Marcus Smart and what he contributes to the team. You can't overlook that. It's significant. Rozier, significant. And then the versatility of, you know, Morris, Tatum, and Brown, the switching they can do. So it's, I think when you have a player like that, and Taj has been one of the best pick and roll defenders in the league for a long time, and he's been in a lot of big games. And so I think that's been helpful to Carl. I think what Jimmy brings has been helpful to Wiggs, and just the overall leadership. Those guys, they know how to prepare, they know how to practice, they play to win, they make winning plays. So I think having a good mix of, you know, young guys, some guys that are in the middle, and then some vets that have been around is helpful for the development of the players.